Hello, I'm Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to day 3 of the Cryptocurrency Challenge. So, today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin Gold fork, which is almost upon us. We're going to talk about mining, how Bitcoin Gold is mined, and why this fork is happening. I'm also going to talk about the SegWit X2 fork that is coming up and the infighting that's happening on this. In fact, the infighting is happening on Bitcoin Gold as well. The information wars that is happening out here between the sides, and how it may be creating the volatility in the market. So, first off, let's go over my numbers, and my numbers are not impressive. So I'm actually upside down now. I'm actually less than $100 on day 3, and I made a few choices which I'm not happy with, that were, just kind of attempts to right myself right after, it's like taking a loss off the very first thing. And so, once we got started with this, Bitcoin just skyrocketed up. And all of the altcoins dropped down pretty bad, because it was like the altcoins were being sucked up into Bitcoin. And that's what the word was from the couple of groups that I'm in and everything, is that this is what's happening and stuff. And so I ended up that I had holdings in Ethereum and in Litecoin, and they just kept going down and down. They were like 10% down, each of them. And Bitcoin just kept skyrocketing through the roof. And I sold out of those with a loss of around 5% on each one of them. And then I bought into Bitcoin while it was still going up. And it went up higher than when I bought into it. And then it went down. And so, I've ended up in a, I don't know what the percentage, is right now, but I'm about 7% down, something like this. And now, so, and I've been thinking about this. I'm like, what would have I done different if I was not on the challenge? Because part of this challenge is that I'm producing a video every day, and you guys want to see some sort of change. And so I struggle with that. And I'm like, what do I do? Okay, well, let's try and keep it moving and make some progress here. Instead, I've just made some bad decisions, and it just keeps this all real. That you too can make bad decisions. So, and they're just, it's me making as best educated guess as I can on things while trying to obtain goals, which is the 1% a day of profit. And so now I thought about this and I'm like, well, what would I have done if I wasn't under this pressure challenge? What was I doing before the challenge started? Before the challenge started, if I got upside down in something, I just waited till it came back. Sometimes it was 3 or 4 days, but then it did, and I cashed out and I was fine. And I, maybe I didn't make 1% a day, for having that sit in 3 days. Like I didn't make 3% off of that, but maybe I made it up in other areas, and so it became a little bit more of a long-term play. To be in and out of a currency in a single day is a little bit harder to do than what it looks like. And so now I've just had to decide, okay, well, what's the right thing? What's the right thing here? Well, I have a really strong belief that Bitcoin is going to continue going up, even though it's down at the moment from where it's high yesterday. But overall, I believe that it's going to go up. And so I've got everything in Bitcoin right now, and I've got a portion of it for sale, so that I can end up in the end with having about 25% of my initial $100 in Bitcoin, because you can't buy $25 worth of Bitcoin. It's not possible. Right now, at the prices right now, you'd have to buy $59 worth. That's the lowest amount that you can buy. So I bought, and then I sell off part of it, leaving myself a remainder. Okay, so that's fine. And so, it's a play that may take a couple of days, although we have the Bitcoin Gold fork that is about to happen. That fork is happening about 34 hours from the time of recording this video. And so what is Bitcoin Gold and why does it matter? Well, it is a fork coming off because Bitcoin is mined by ASICs and Bitcoin Gold is GPU. A lot of us have GPUs. None of you have ASICs. And ASICs is, in essence, CPUs that are hyper-focused at a very particular job of just mining Bitcoin. That is what they're designed for. It's like software that's put into a piece of hardware, and it just runs really fast, and it's really stable. And but a CPU is designed to do much, much more than that. But even though Bitcoin started out as CPU-based mining. So the what's happened is that there's only one or two manufacturers of these devices. And there's getting to be these big control powers on Bitcoin that these large groups controlling like the hardware for it and some of the other infrastructure, the mining and all of that. And that's becoming a problem because it's supposed to be decentralized. So to decentralize it to help, what they want to do is they want to split off Bitcoin Gold and fork it out and then get it over into GPU mining, which is what's going on the lower left of the screen. That is a GPU miner that is going on right there. It's got two GPUs. You see it says GPU 0, GPU 1. Those numbers in red mean that it's kind of warm, 84 Celsius and 81 Celsius on my video cards that are in there. And generates a lot of heat. And I certainly don't need to put any heat in this room with those running. And but that is a GPU miner, and it's currently mining Zcash, but it's the same type of setup as what will be used for Bitcoin Gold. So I hope to get in on some of that after the fork. I don't know how long it'll be before I can get information and application to run that. But that is my plan, is that I'm at least going to dabble in that. Right now, Zcash has been good to me. I've mined a little bit more than a whole coin, and actually quite a bit more than a whole coin, not quite two. And it's been good. And I've converted some of that Zcash that I had into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has gone up. Overall, in Bitcoin, I am way up. In the challenge portion, I'm down. So, okay, so that's this first fork, and that one is kind of, I would call friendly, planned. The second one that happens in November is not friendly. It's the SegWit X2, and there is infighting going on among the advisory members or the council or whatever they're called for Bitcoin. And they've not been able to come to a consensus on how to move forward over several technology differences within how it's all operated and how it all functions. And so they decided, a portion of them have decided that they are splitting off into the SegWit X2 version of Bitcoin. And then there's just some really crazy claims going on. So one of the things that's happening right now with Bitcoin Gold is that Coinbase, which is who owns GDAX, where I've been doing the trading, has been accused of giving false information about Bitcoin Gold because they published a thing that said that Bitcoin Gold, that the fork had already happened internally, and so there's no sense in getting your money off of Coinbase to your private wallets, which I've already done. I've got a couple of private wallets, and I've already sent the stuff out, and so they said that there was no reason to do that, and I was like disappointed when I read that yesterday after had been planning to do this move and stuff, and to find that out, and then to find out that the Bitcoin Gold people are saying, no, we haven't done that yet. Coinbase, get your shit straight. Quit making shit up and everything. And you're going, wow. Okay. In normal business, you have somebody make a mistake or whatnot. They print a retraction, or they or it's just kind of a one-time thing and you move on and you don't hear about mistakes like that happening again. But in the world of Bitcoin, you know, these are people who are doing business, but not under normal business ethics. They're not necessarily beholden to you or I, and my opinion and your opinion doesn't necessarily matter in this whole thing, and it's just a different existence. It's the wild, wild west. So with that said, the SegWit X2 split coming up, or fork coming up, is hostile, and there are several companies that are backing this split, and now are being accused, you know, by there's this article here on Tropicy that came out a week ago or so, that basically says that Bitcoin.org, which is, you know, the first website that was put up about Bitcoin, kind of the founding stuff of it, that now they say blacklisted. I think what really happened is that the listings were just removed, but they removed listings for Coinbase and for some other companies because they're going with the SegWit X2 support. And then they make some really big claims in here about the SegWit X2, like they're making claims that Coinbase is going to just switch over to the SegWit X2 with everyone's currency that's in there, which is GDAX as well, where we're doing our trading, and that they're not going to tell us, and that we'll actually all be working with, you know, SegWit X2 whenever we are doing trading here with Bitcoin. And that's a pretty big claim. They're claiming that there's going to be this big deception and everything. And who the hell knows what's true? You know, welcome to the information wars. And so you can't tell which side is authority, which side is what. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And so I know that I've taken most of my Bitcoin holdings off of there. I have my Bitcoin holdings that are part of the challenge that are just going to remain in. It's going to stay whatever it is. And then I have some Bitcoin on Coinbase. It's some leftovers from after sending things a couple of different places. And I'm going to leave that. But I've moved everything else off to private wallets. Now, Lisa, my wife, who's also doing the challenge, she had some Bitcoin left over before we started the challenge, and so she's just left it in Coinbase. And I'm like, well, we got to get you into a private wallet, you know, where you have private keys and stuff. And she's like, all this information out here, I don't even know what to believe. And I think that that's a very normal response to all of this BS going on. So, you know, she just decides she's just going to leave it stay put on Coinbase, and Coinbase has said that they're not going to give any of the Bitcoin gold, but they are going to do the SegWit X2. And so, but I want both. I want to be greedy. I know that I have 2% or 0.2 of a Bitcoin. You know, it's not. I have 1/5 of a Bitcoin. You know, and that's worth $1,000 or so, a little over 1,000. And so, you know, that's a, you know, good amount. And so, you know, when Bitcoin Gold comes out and they do this fork, what am I going to get? I'm going to get 0.2 or 1/5 of a Bitcoin Gold off of that, and then the same thing off the SegWit X2 of whatever holdings I have at that time. And so, will it be very much? The futures market says that Bitcoin Gold's going to be worth about $20. And the SegWit X2 futures market says right now it's going to be worth about $200. So, you know, if one coin, if I have 0.2 or 1/5 of one coin, it's worth $20. It's going to be about $4 worth of value for all of this work and frustration and everything. I mean, $4. Who cares? You know? If I do things right, I make $4 in my sleep overnight just doing good trades. So, that is a valid concern, and it's like maybe it doesn't matter. For people who have a whole bunch of coins, if you have 50 Bitcoins or whatnot, then 50 times 20, you're talking some money there, but it's still in the whole scheme of things not very much. So, that is just what it is. I want to go through the experience. I want to go through the forks and learn what this is and figure all this out. Now, forking is not. Most people don't really know how to do this, and the reason is that not very much of it has ever happened. There has been a Bitcoin Cash fork, and then there was Bitcoin Ultimate before that, and then prior to that there was, there's been a Zcash one, and there has been one other for Ethereum, which I believe was an emergency fork when there was a bug found in the original stuff. So, and in that one, so Ethereum became Ethereum in the fork, if that makes sense. The old Ethereum became Ethereum Classic, and the new Ethereum became Ethereum, and we're all using Ethereum. And Ethereum is the second most used currency that there is. So the they're hoping that maybe these people who are in support of SegWit-X2 are hoping that SegWit-X2 will become the new Bitcoin and the old Bitcoin will become Bitcoin Classic. I don't know how this is all going to play out. It's all going to be possibly it's going to be very disruptive, or possibly Bitcoin is just going to power on through it like everything else and have little rises and falls as it goes through this turbulent stuff, but overall just keep on this trajectory that just keeps going up. So, what are we to do? We are to ride along this roller coaster and try not to freak out too much. So, okay, that is pretty much everything that's happening with the cryptocurrency challenge and what's on my mind today. I will publish later tonight. There's a link in the description. I will later tonight update my spreadsheet, and Lisa will update hers to say where we're at. She's made profit 2 days in a row. It hasn't been 1%, but she's made profit 2 days in a row. A lot of the other people talking in Discord have said that they are, in fact, making good percentages. They've made some good choices, and yay, team. So that's really excellent. And but that is where we're at. So hopefully Bitcoin is going to go through the roof. I do have a sell order here at 67.85. I know, pretty incredible. I'm going to hold fast for that. And wait. And so it might be that I make no trades for the next several days. It might be. I don't know what's coming up here. And it's a little bit frustrating to me to have everything tied up and I can't make any trades. But that is the way it is. And so one of the points of this challenge too that we've done in here is that in this example here, I have put on my tab, the Marcus tab here, I put on a snapshot of the currencies right at the beginning, when the day we started, and where they were. And so right now, Bitcoin is at 59.17, and it was at 59.89 whenever I took the snapshot. Ethereum and Litecoin were both much higher than what they are right now. And so, on the last day, I'm going to do this snapshot again, and we're going to see how much they would have changed. So, because the question is, are you making more by trading, or are you making more by holding? And I think that there's a mix of it, and I think for most of us, the answer is holding longer term than trying to do something more akin to day trading. And so, but we're gonna figure out whether or not which one wins, which one would be better. And so beyond the 30-day challenge, we are going to do other stuff as well, like the whole mining thing. I'm going to figure out some sort of, I don't know if it'll be a mining challenge or something, but I am going to figure out how can we show you all how to mine on your computers and make a profit and celebrate our success. So that will be coming, and we may have some content on that before the end of the 30-day challenge on this. Definitely at the end of the 30-day challenge on this. And so get prepared for that, because trading is only part of how you can make the money. And if you're a gamer like I am, you have a gaming system that has these GPUs just sitting idle in them. Why not make a couple of bucks a day off of each GPU? I mean, seriously, why not? So, okay, that is it for today. Good success to you. We'll have another video tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm going to come back reporting great success. We shall see.